Well, our group started long before I became involved. It's been around for 25 years and it was called the South Lakes Landcare at the time that it started. And also it worked on a number of sites. Eventually they focused mainly on the park at Sunshine. Once the park was established and they were really happy with what they'd achieved there, they started to spread more and moved more along the foreshore. So this was just a massive lantana. When I first came to Sunshine, it was a massive lantana. By the time I joined the group, so several years later, it had been cleared of lantana and planted. They had a big planting program. And then shortly within a time of me becoming involved with the group, this became heavily infested with ground asparagus and climbing asparagus. So then we had to kind of like completely revamp our efforts to rid it of weed, and that's been the most recent weeding program that we've achieved here. And now it's inundated with exotic grasses. So I guess that's the third level of weeding for us to tackle. So along fringing the lake, all along from Sunshine Park all the way through to Johnny's Point, and on quite a large section of Johnny's Point is an endangered ecological community called River Flat Eucalypt Forest on coastal floodplain. Down here, the characteristic feature is the Eucalyptus terraticornis, that's the forest red gum, and the Casuarina glauca, which is the swamp oak. I think you get a better picture of it at Johnny's Point because there's a larger area that fits that description, and there are a lot of plants that have survived that, even though there was a lot of weed there as well. So the vegetation up on the slope goes all the way up to the ridge where the road is, and it's a drier vegetation community than what we see in the park and along the foreshore. Because it's drier, you get more of the typical sclerophyll woodland plants, including a lot of the egg and bacon pea flowers and banksias. There are also a lot of grass trees throughout that area of the bush. We have a lot of these smooth-barked apple trees. They're very dominant in this vegetation community, and so are the scribbly gums. You'll see plenty of them further up the slope. Also in this whole section of the bush is an endangered species called Tetratheca juncea, or black-eyed Susan. It's a really sweet pink flower on it's fairly much at ground level, and it's very beautiful when it comes into flower in spring, and it flowers for up to 2 months. And the other endangered species that's really notable is the squirrel glider, which also lives in this area. We have 2 work mornings a month. We're always looking for new members, but also anybody in the area that isn't interested in joining can still help us by being careful about what they plant and what they have growing in their garden. We've put together a brochure that helps to clarify for them what we would like them to get rid of if it's growing in their garden, and also what they can plant in its place.